I have a vision of a world. I have a vision of a world that's unified. I have a vision of a world where the Illuminati no longer interfere with the construction of our combined reality. I envision a world where education is free and accessible to anyone, everyone, everywhere, around the whole globe. I envision us unified as one people, one humanity, one consciousness, who respects each other with civility, who respects each other's sovereignty, talents, personality. I envision a world that has developed higher principles for existence, values and meanings to this infinite universe, in combination with its physical existence, to find a peace with those meanings. I envision futuristic modes of transportation, futuristic architecture, brand new cities. I envision global councils, open and transparent data systems, where everyone can have access to these data systems at all times, so that everyone is a part of the collective consciousness, the collective government, the unified humanity, the civil society. Where our foods are pure, light, refined, clean. Our technologies are automated, advanced. Where humanity has found the cures for disease, sickness. Where no one gets sick. Where everyone's healthy. And everybody's getting educated. I envision a world where creating living standards are higher, based around higher principles, higher meanings, higher values. And that world can come into existence. That world can begin to form within you, like a light, melding itself together in the form of thoughts. And the vacuum space within you, created by your unhappiness, creates that vacuum of space for this light to merge and meld within you. These new thoughts, these new lights, these new powers that you can believe, that you can begin to start believing in your emotions, not what your mind is telling you about what I'm saying, not what your mind is telling you about what the world is. What is your heart telling you? Look at that space of unhappiness within yourself. Fill that space up with light. Say to yourself, I believe I can create my own reality. I don't have to accept this reality that has been constructed for me. I don't have to accept the corruption that has been embedded within every angle, within every construct of my current reality. So when you look into your heart and you see the world as it is today, you can't be happy. How could anyone on this planet be happy? Maybe in your own little world, you may have found some sort of happiness. Maybe for moments in your life, you may have found happiness. But once again, reality has been constructed for you to live within your own two-dimensional world. Our constructs of reality as of now distract us, make us self-absorbed, where we look within ourselves, care only about ourselves. You got a college degree, you got a brand new job, got a brand new car, you got some money, you got some jewelry, even good things. You saw your boyfriend, you saw your girlfriend, you saw your relatives. You're going to go home tonight and watch a show you've been wanting to watch. You're going to go out Friday and Saturday and you're going to party it up. You're going to drink some beer, hang out with your friends, really party it up, live a little bit. And it has nothing to do with the planet. It has nothing to do with the reality of what's going on right now. So you have to look within yourself and say to yourself, deep down inside, how can you really be happy? If you're compassionate about the world, how can you really be happy with what's going on? The suffering around the world, the starving, the hungry, the dying, the sick, the wars, the unsettling peace, the chaos of total governmental collapse in some places, the trash that's floating in the ocean, the overfishing of the seas, the burning down of the forests, the cutting down of the trees, the polluting of the air, the poisoning of the animals, of our bodies, of the planetary body. And once again, the compassion shines through like a light because deep down inside you know this to be true. And yet that light that I speak of is still there, still melding, still molding together in the center of your heart. That light of a new world, a new place, a new vision that you are manifesting within yourself. The light that you're bringing apart into that vacuum space called your heart is of a new vision. And plain and simple, it's unconditional love. It's the light of your existence. It's the light of your soul. It's a divine right to create with God, to create with the universe, to use the flows of energy to actually create and envision harmony, peace, civility, and sovereignty. You can only do it with this light, this unlimited potential that exists within the universe. But you have to find it. You have to look within yourself. And you have to be real with yourself. And you have to see the reality that exists today. And it has to affect you. It has to make you angry. It has to make you sad. It has to make you feel something. Or make you feel nothing. For many of us are distracted. Many of us are pulled away from the light, pulled into the dark distractions of self-absorption. Where you think about yourself, you think about the I, you think about the ego, the body of yourself, the flesh of yourself, the way you look, the way you are as a person is just an encasement. It's an encasement of the light of God, the light of the Creator, the light of the universal flow of source life, of light and love that manifests existence itself, that ever eternal question mark of who am I, what am I, what's my purpose, what's my reason for existing, where you finally surrender and relinquish it, not to the logics of your mind, but to the feeling of your heart, because that question mark will always be there, and what you have to accept is that you exist. You do exist. And there is no reasoning for it. So you have to feel the reasons why you exist And for most people, you'll soon see that you're distracted. You're distracted by money, distracted by women, distracted by men, distracted by cars, jobs, position, status, class. You name it, it's there. And that's our world, and we love it. We love the way we live. We love our selfishness. But this isn't the time to have pride over your two-dimensional aspect of life. It's time to be inclusive, altruistic, and encompassing of all dimensions of life. And when you do that, I know you feel within you pain and hurt. Because not only do you connect to yourselves, you connect to everybody else, which is yourself. All humanity as one body. And as you extend that light and that compassion, as it grows and it shines out of your body and out of your heart, you realize not only do you look at other people as yourself and you start to feel their suffering, you start to see how they're manipulated, how they're in slumber, how they're distracted. Because that light within you holds fast, and it doesn't let you go. You may get distracted from it, but it's still there. That divine source of your existence is still there. And now that it's there, it's not going to let you go. And neither will I, for that matter. Because I'm a part of you all, and you are a part of me. And together, we live on this planet. And so the compassion of the light that's within you grows to encompass the planet. And you know that there's something fundamentally wrong with existence on this planet. There's something wrong with the reality that we are choosing to accept on this planet. And it is a choice, because you do choose to get distracted. If you're going to use your divine focus to feed negative energies, and you will use and get distracted to feed those negative energies, to take up the time of your existence and your experience, you soon begin to realize that the light that's growing within you and the focus that is you is actually the creator of your experiences. So becoming one takes on a new meaning when it comes to actually facing the truth and saying that we are one. We are one with ourselves, with each other, and the planet. That we have divine relationships to the sun, to the universe, to our galaxy. These energies and frequencies and harmonies all coexisting together as one. Yet, with the power of free will, and some exercise free will to control others. They have the intent within themselves to take these universal laws and to create constructs of control, manipulation, subversion, inferiority, superiority, distractions of all kinds, divide and conquer. They try to create an anti-universe of what harmony really is, just by using these divine laws of creation that exist within each one of you. So I'm asking you to hold on to that light, to peel away the layers of illusion, for the light shines bright into the darkness. It illuminates your soul and illuminates you. It shines light into the places of society that are dark, into the souls who have the intention of being dark, controlling. It shines light even to those who are lost, who are perceived to be lost, who have fell in love with the materialistic aspect of reality, the acquirement of reality, the acquirement of materialistic abundance as a source of happiness, a source of life. But no matter what, you can't escape that light, that point of origin of infinite potential, unlimited possibilities, infinite possibilities. And with such a power of trying to understand the power of the existence of yourself, the existence of the universe, and just to know that it just is. It just exists. And you have no reasonings or answers to why it does exist. And that the magnitude of life is bigger than your own individual life. That the small unit of consciousness that you are, the small aspect, the speck of dust that you really are within this infinite universe, that you are still a part of the universe, and that you are made up of the same materials that the universe is constructed of. So the divine relationship to the infinite is still there. The light is still there. The light doesn't go anywhere. These creational forces exist within us all. And so we evoke a higher meaning by banding together. We evoke a higher value within each other to the planet. And all of a sudden the lessons become clear as you wake up. Am I supposed to be forgetting about the garbage in the ocean? Am I supposed to not care about the people dying in other countries? Am I supposed to be self-absorbed? Am I supposed to be vain? Am I supposed to be greedy? And all of a sudden, all of these things that we have become start to fade away because they become illusionary. Because you finally accept the unhappiness of what it has become. And then just because you looked at the light within your heart and asked yourself truthfully, and you didn't try to reason with your mind, you asked with your heart, how can I really be happy? Is everyone happy? Is this planet a happy place to exist in? Without being within your own two-dimensional, selfish, self-absorbed world. It's one of the hardest jobs to be altruistic. To try to look at the light within yourself. But once again, since the light never leaves, it really isn't that difficult. And it becomes easier the more that you focus onto it. And as that light grows stronger, and as it will over time, you can focus on the light now. That unlimited potential within that speck of dirt called you. That stardust, universal stuff, universal matter within the universe of existence. To combine those harmonies and frequencies of what it is in scale with your perception of what you are and in your relation to it, that's called divine relationship. And many of us don't see it. But I invoke within you today to look within time and space and find that center point within time and space of all things and of all the universe and of all the heavens, and to form a light that is you, that is us. It is the oneness of all existence. And let that light grow within you into an unconditional love, a love for it all. It is a spiritual awakening because it is light and love. Because only light can form a harmony with its own self. Only light can work with its own self to find a harmony with its own self. And when you live in a dark world where we have been pulled into this abyss, and you become aware of the abyss that is your heart, and you face it truthfully, then that vacuum space that is within you is you purging this reality and you reconnecting back to that source that exists throughout all of time and all of space. That unlimited potential source, creator, God, love. And every one of you become an extension of the creator. Every one of you becomes an expression of God, fractalized not only on this planet but throughout the entire infinite universe. So it becomes a lesson for those who are asleep, for those who are in the dark, to actually awaken up to light. And for some reason, for those that when we start to remember that this is truth, we start to remember that that is truth. We are one. That the loving God, the loving Creator, has an unconditional flowing love from within its presence, within time and space itself, to create existence, where time itself is even not questioned, almost forgotten, because it's a non-point within the origin of an infinite God, an infinite source, infinite creator. And you just see the eternal flow of energy, the eternal flow of life, the harmony of it all. And when your logical mind tries to go in there and reason with it, you start to disturb it. So you always return to the unconditional love aspect that binds it together in the first place. Is it that crazy? Is it that impossible to understand that the universe itself is a giant perpetual engine to create unconditional love onto its own self, to create a meaning of existence and a meaning and a value of its own existence in an infinite and eternal realm? And that unconditional love would be the end result of existence and the only meaning that you need to actually adhere to? Or does your reasoning, logical mind try to go in there and disturb it? And with that kind of power, you forget about the I. You forget about the me. And so becoming one it takes on a whole new dimension. A whole brand new dimension when it comes to becoming one. And the darkness that casts shadows upon it are the blockages within ourselves. It's the blockages within our society. It's the constructs of darkness and control that drains the source of life from each and every one of you. And so it divides you. It shatters you. If what you're investing this divine focus into doesn't cultivate a higher growth, a higher meaning of light and love and unconditional flow of expression, then it's draining you. And because of free will, you're choosing which experience does either. It's either going to drain you and make you feel less complete, or you're choosing experiences that make you feel more complete. And the duality of it all becomes a grand lesson about duality itself, about free will itself, but more importantly about waking up. More importantly, about those who are strong-willed enough to hold on to that light. And for those who understand, and by combining the reasoning mind with your heart, you understand that holding on to that focus, holding on to that light within an infinite universe transcends time itself into a point that transcends time and space. That the eternal, that the infinite exists within all points of time and space, and that you have a direct connection with it at all times, because that's the point. If it didn't transcend time and didn't transcend space, then there would be no point, literally. But that point is there. That light at the end of the tunnel is there. And it's always there to remind you of what it is. And it's never going away. If we had the power of, and we do, the power of attraction, the law of attraction, to think of what we're going to think about, and it attracts upon to its own self, then who says it stops at the simple level of me thinking of what I want to attract? Who says that it's going to not just work for me, but it's not going to work for everyone on the planet, but to work for every conscious being within the entire infinite universe? And if that light spark of creation, that extension of God, that extension of the universe into a conscious form, into a conscious being, has the ability to create a light within themselves, within their own time and space, yet to ascend and to transcend with that energy flow into a higher flow of thought, into a higher form of meaning, then like attracts like. The power of attraction is the calling back to that source, that it's endowed within us. We're embedded with the calling within our own selves to return to that source, to return to that point. The Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end, whatever you want to call it. The continuous flow of life, the infinite source that transcends the time that you have believed in to this point. And with those kinds of thoughts and with those kind of higher meanings, all of a sudden the clock on the wall doesn't make so much sense anymore. It doesn't make so much sense that you adhere to numbers that put a strict limit on your value of time. Since we're talking about the infinite universe and all energy flows go back to an infinite source, if like attracts like, and the power of attraction is a real law, and it is, and you can see it every day in what you want to create for your experience, so it can be broken down into this unit called you. It can be broken down into this extension of God called you, this expression of the infinite creator called you. And when you return back to the Creator and you wake up from the darkness that has distracted you from and you realize that other beings have negative intentions to create, negative universes, where you feed them power, you feed them money and control and greed, you feed them what they need to exist because they abuse these laws. They try to disrupt that flow. They try to cut off the connection. This is a criminal act. This is a universal crime, to take another being's free will and to disconnect themselves from the divine right that allows them to create their own reality. To manipulate someone's destiny from unbounding with light and love and completion for that soul is a universal crime. And it's the humans who do it to each other, because no one else is doing it. There isn't a devil doing it. There isn't some caricature of God that's doing it. There's people doing it to other people that causes it. It causes a disruption. I have the power to lie. I have the power to block information. If I block information, then I'm stopping the flow. And everyone knows that light is information. And if I have a spark of life and divine light within myself, then I am pure information of who I am as a person, my personality, my soul, my consciousness. The flows always connect back to that infinite source, the transcending of time. So how do you ascend out of these dark worlds that exist today? It's by realizing these higher spiritual values. That you are an extension of the heavenly creator of the cosmos. And by pulling yourself out of your two-dimensional world, you start to expand with that light. And it showers out of you, much like the great sun and the great central sun of this galaxy that shines a light of beacon that we exist, that you do exist. And the power of attraction, the law of attraction, I want you to envision every being on this planet thinking that. It becomes a natural law for conscious beings to say, I am here. It becomes a conscious law, in a sense, a universal law for every being of conscious to say, I do exist. And if those things are said, if those things are realized, then it can only lead to that source that you call God, that you call the Creator. And within infinite time and space, it transcends your values of what you call time. And as each one of you connect to that flow of what ascends time and what transcends time, then all of a sudden you start to realize that you are manifesting something new. You are manifesting a new time. That you're taking the unlimited potential of light and love and life, and you're actually manifesting it into a new reality as it grows. Every single person that starts to wake up to the truths of universal divine rights starts to connect to that source of unlimited potential. And what happens if you become unlimited potential? What happens if you become one with the source, one with that unlimited infinite potential? Then you are actually invoking the laws of manifestation. You are creating the laws of manifestation. You are actually creating. These are the divine rights that you are given for actually existing, for actually being awake to experience this existence. So it's with these higher principles you ask yourself, what am I creating? If you know you're not happy with this world and you know of the destruction that's going on, what are you creating? Look at the blockages within yourselves. Look at your past. Look at your negatives. If each one of us have been distracted, that means timelines have been distracted. Relatives from your past, your ancestors have been pulled into a distraction. Within your genetics, within your family bloodlines, you carry these distractions as a part of you. Most people have had negative pasts, and it's due to these distractions. So you have to actually become aware of yourself. You have to shine a light within yourself first and look at those negative things that have become you. It's not an excuse to stay negative. With such an awareness and such a higher principle, it actually gives you the reasoning to look at within yourself and to make a free will decision. It gives you a free will decision to look within yourself and to stop those negative things. To purge those negative things from your consciousness. But you have to have the creational intent to do so. Which brings us right back to reality. That we aren't happy in this world. That most of us aren't happy with our personal lives. And once you face up to that truth and you start with yourself, you start with your own little world that you've been so self-absorbed with, and you start to conquer those dark things within yourself, and you put light there. And they say the power of prayer, it's the truth. You're praying your way, you're asking your way to find those dark things within yourself, and you're stopping them within yourself. And so the light begins to grow, and it shines a light onto yourself, and so you start to have this battle within yourself, and you start to conquer it. And each one of us that does so begins to connect with its own self, because light can only connect with its own self. The only way it can be disrupted is if you block it. And I know you understand what I'm saying, and so the vision starts to take hold. The vision of how to create a new world. The vision of how to create a new you. How to become who you really are. How do we become human? How do you become human? How do we become one? And as your compassion grows and your unconditional love starts to overflow because you're conquering these negative things within yourself, they become segments of your past. And you start to change and connect to a new timeline. You start to change and connect to a new manifestation as you bring these powers online, that they're your divine rights, that you do exist. That you do exist in the infinite universe. When you look at those out into the stars and out into space, and you see all those blinking lights, or if you look at pictures of what it looks like out in space, how can you not be mesmerized? How can you not invoke these thoughts of what is your divine relationship within existence? What is the meaning of life? What is your purpose? And if we live in a dark world and in a dark society, and it becomes extremely evident of what your purpose is, and all these comparable energies, all these like energies become resonant within you, they become resonant within us. And that's why we become one. Because there's a lot of people who are unhappy, and so we resonate with each other that we are unhappy. Truthfully, when you look at yourselves. And since light connects to light, guess what happens? We start connecting to each other. We break down barriers. We relieve blockages within ourselves, within our consciousness, and we start to let the light flow. We start to let the light connect, and the light starts to grow stronger. And the manifestation of what's actually occurring starts to become known as a movement. Some would say revolution. But it's actually the spirit within you igniting from that place that is of unlimited potential, unlimited light. And it starts to grow. The movement starts to take hold, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Not even the dark beings who call themselves the Illuminati can stop it. And that's what's approaching. We're creating our own wave. We're creating our own momentum. We're starting to create our own neural network. We're creating our own global consciousness. We're creating our own oneness. We're alleviating those blockages that separate us all. All those illusionary things, you start to ascend above them. You start to transcend above them, and you create the movement yourself. The expressions from your heart will connect each and every one of us together to find what that oneness really means. So we are in a transitional phase, friends. We are in a transitional period. But I tell you the truth, that one of these days, as these waves radiate out of us, waking up new people, connecting to higher flows, creating new grids of light, new intelligences. I tell you the truth, that manifesting and understanding and envisioning a new world will become very, very clear. All based around these higher principles. And remember what we are trying to envision here, or at least that one spark of thought within me to envision a world and to spark the visionary within you of a society based off laws of oneness, sovereignty, and peace. To have a total collective consciousness that is one with each other, that respects the planet, that loves each other unconditionally and this planet. And it gives us that idealism to start expressing that out to the universe. That we can get over these petty differences that exist now, that we can get over these petty separatist beliefs that we hold on to so dearly now. We let them go. We find higher principles, higher meaning, higher values of equality, justice, sovereignty, civility, peace, and love. And once we start to do that, just like this lesson of duality is trying to teach us, once we start being able to be grown up enough to do that, then all of a sudden our vision takes its natural course to start looking out towards space. Once we conquered what this planet has been trying to teach us this whole time, to become one with it and one with each other, then and only then can we actually start to look out into space and to say, well, what's out there? Now that you've refined your principles, now that you've actually collected some principles together as a human race, now all of a sudden the lesson continues and you look out into the infinite expanse of space and you say, oh my goodness, what's out there? What are we going to find out there? And you've refined the tools necessary, that you've learned the lessons and you've refined the tools necessary to start venturing out into space, not knowing what you're going to encounter. But you hold those principles within yourself because that's what's going to carry you forward as you do venture out into space eventually. That's going to become Earth history. It's going to become our Earth past, our Earth timeline in history. It should never be a goal or never be a belief that we're going to kill ourselves, that we're going to kill each other off, or we're going to have wars. These are lower thoughts. It's time to invoke higher principles of how we're going to collect together as one to become a global society. It's time to envision the future and to bring it within you right now. And we have the power to do this. We have the power to do this right now.